Hey folks, today we're going to unbox and rebox Rolling Heights. So what I do is I do an unboxing, we're going to take a look at all the components, and then I'm going to arrange it the way I like it to be arranged. We're going to put it all back in the box and then give it the dreaded flip test and see how it does. The designer is John DeClaire, who I believe is the person that designed Kabutos, probably my favorite game of Christmas last year. And let's take a look inside. So we are greeted with some promos. These are Kickstarter promos. And we've got the waterfront property building tiles expansion. And we've got the designer and Angry Ape micro expansion. So that's pretty cool. Set those aside. We've got an instruction book here. This is the solo rules. It's like a one sheet here for playing solo and the instructions for that. And we've got the rule book. This is a really big rule book. And I like that they have all the components listed here. That's really nice. Nice big instruction book explaining how things go. I see lots of big examples, big typeface. Sometimes it's hard to read these big floppy instruction books and stuff, but this looks pretty nice. Nice big instruction book. This game didn't look particularly complicated. I haven't delved into the rules 100% yet, but I'm excited to. It's got the, so in this game you roll meeples. It's got meeples that you're going to roll in these boxes, and it came with these little tuck box style game trays that look like little workshops inside, which is kind of neat. And it's got, this is a, I believe this is a 4-player game. Is that right? Yeah, 1 to 4 players. 1 to 4 players for about 60 minutes is what it says. So it's got some of those things, and then we got these bags of meeples. So these meeples, they represent, normally they're a player color, but these all represent different types of workers. And what you'll be able to do is you'll be rolling them into these little boxes here that I just showed you. So, and you've got brown ones for wood and blue ones for steel, and then you've got more. You've got clear ones for glass. And then you've got more kind of, you've got other kinds of ones too that represent like your bosses and politicians and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different ways to make points. You got a real point salad-y feel to the whole thing. And so as you go, as you build buildings, you'll be able to get more and more of these meeples and interact with them. And they all just kind of came in this bag. I don't see any sort of insert in here at all, but it did come with some bags. We'll look at that in a second though. So that's meeples. They're all plastic too. They're not wood. Then you got these sort of Lego style building blocks. And these are sort of pulled aside. I think these are player color ones. So this first set of blocks is all, seems to be mostly player colors and stuff like that. And it looks like it's separated out. And the rest of this are the different building blocks that you'll use to build the buildings and stuff. And they do stack on top of one another. So as you roll the guys, if they're successful, like if the wood guy lands on his feet, you get 2 wood. If he lands on his side, you get 1 wood. If he lands on his back, he's tired, and you need to just let him go. Now you can. It does have a push your luck mechanism where you can roll them. Attempt to roll them again, but if you don't get it, they go on strike, and then you lose half of whatever you were able to collect. So, not always a good idea. But all of these are kind of slotted, so they'll fit on top of one another. You wouldn't probably put 2 different types on top of one another, but you can do that. And I don't know if there's any benefit in separating these, or if it's so easy you can just kind of pull them out of a pile. It appears that in here, at least, we have blue, brown, sort of a clear orange, a regular clear, and a gray color. for all the different types of resources that we'll use to put together. Set that aside. And here we did come with some bags. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these little plastic bags to kind of organize your stuff. So that's always useful. And these are little markers that are used to kind of to mark your player colors score on a big score sheet. Speaking of score sheet, here it is. And we've got artwork on this side. And then on the reverse, we've got all the mechanisms for scoring. So this will be a reference sheet. You'll probably want to keep this close to you when you set it up too. And it references what all the different kinds of meeples do and what they're worth when they land on their side or their feet. And there's a little score track that runs around that we'll be using to keep track of our scores. Taking a quick look at the quality of this, it seems pretty nice, well printed, not pulling away too bad when you kind of interact with it here. Looks pretty standard. The type looks nice and crisp. It looks like it's really easy to read. I like that. Again, nothing special, but nothing bad either. Pretty nice. Then we're into these things. We're going to have to punch all these. These are all the little buildings that we're going to put in. I'm going to have to punch all these out and kind of take a look at them. I'm not sure if they need to be sorted in any particular way. Looks like we've got level 1 and level 2 buildings. And on these, so on these city tiles, you're going to see the resources that you need to collect to make it happen. And at the bottom, you'll see the points that you get along with any more workers that you'll get, as you complete. I wanted to note too that as you're stacking stuff, you won't be able to see those things, but they do have a little note off to the side so you can still see that the number of these you're trying to achieve as you build your little pegs on there. And so those little blocks will kind of stack on top of them until you get enough or you get the appropriate amount for whatever building you're trying to construct, and then you get the bonus and the points. It's really pretty simple. And it looks like there's a fair amount of these. At least these are all level 1 buildings. So we've got a sheet of level 1, a sheet of level 2. Looks like about the same amount. And then what do we have here? And then we got some of the districts. These districts will be the areas that we use to put the buildings onto. And they are two-sided. I believe that's for player count. And some of them will grant points. Some of them will grant points or have little extra benefits for putting stuff on there. And some of them will cost more resources. That's what this little cube means. It's a resource of any type. It'll cost more resources to be able to place your building on there. These tokens here, I believe, are objective tokens. You get 2 objectives. And then you pick the one that gets you the most points by the end of the game, and then you use that. I'm not sure what some of these other things do. I haven't been all the way through the rule book yet. Yeah, so here's another one with more objectives. These are kind of the same layout. I assume that these will be all different and more level 1 buildings on here. These things are just falling right out. Seems pretty good quality. No double-sided boards or anything wacky like that in this one. No miniatures of any sort. They do have a first player standee token right here in the corner. And here's our last page. These will be little tracks that you run for level 1 or level 2 buildings up the sides of the board. And that provides an area to do sort of a draft. And of course the stuff at the top of the draft, the new stuff that's just come out, is a little bit more expensive as far as resources go. And then as it moves down the draft, it gets less and less so it's easier to pick them up. So these little rails will fit together and they go down the sides of the board. I'm still not sure what all these numbers are. I'll have to kind of look that up and see what that's all about. But that looks like that is it. That's the bottom of the box. Alrighty, I've just finished going through all this stuff and kind of sorting it out the way I like to have it sorted. I arrange these things And this is, again, without having ever played the game or anything like that. What I usually do is I go into the setup portion, and just usually the first couple of pages of the rule book, and I look to see what each player is going to receive. And let's start there. So I bag up the different player colors and any starting resources that they're going to have. Like in this game, you get 2 brown meeples and 2 gray meeples to represent sort of beginning resources. They're also going to have a player color and 18 little markers. I like to bag those up individually, so when I go to play a game, I can just hand a person that bag and say, what color do you want? Green? Okay, here's your green. Another element of this game are these little tiles that we're going to put out. So looking at these could go in a bag. It looks like something that they face a certain way, and there is a level 1 and level 2, so you don't necessarily want to make a big bag of them all together. And eventually, when they hit the board, they're going to stack. So it'd be cool if we could store them in a way that would make them a little bit easier to pull out and put on the table. And it did come with these tuck boxes that are mostly used for rolling things. But what I've done is I've taken the level 2s here, and I've made little convenient stacks, and they just will tuck right inside of here. Then I'm going to take some player colors, and I'm going to stick them around the side. I'm just going to take 2 of the player colors and put them in here like so. And that will kind of keep these things from moving around a whole lot. Pop a lid on that, and now these tokens are secure. Now the level 1 tokens, there's a little bit more of them than there are the level 2, but the extra ones kind of tilt over there, and it doesn't go up a whole lot. Just maybe a very slight amount. So of course we can tuck this player color in here and just kind of keep all of this nice and organized inside of this tuck box. For the other resources, I just simply bag them up by color. Again, I don't know how important or how much time saving this is going to be. I imagine these are going to get dumped into piles on the table when you bring them out. All right, so Toby and I have played one game here, and I've been able to clean this up and reset, and I've noticed a couple of things. As far as sorting out resources and things, you definitely want to get maybe these colors in their own spots. The meeples and stuff, you can kind of dump all in one space. These only come and play in the end, so I just kind of left those in the bag. You're going to want a place to put these things. If you're only playing 2-player, you could use these 2 extra boxes, I guess, to sort out things like these tokens and this stuff here. I had some ideas around storage if you wanted to sort of bling this thing up and add stuff, but the thing is that there's too many. Like, this is a 2-player game, and we've got 25 of each of these pulled out already, and even with this amount, it won't fit in the bins that I have. So I've got these Zen bins, and I have these other bins from game trays. You could also, of course, use the disposable Tupperware and stuff. I'm probably going to shop for things like that. And when I do my final review of this game, I'll tell you what I eventually came up with. But finding a solution for this that will fit in the box, because there's a lot of extra room in there. There's plenty of room to add something else in. But you probably will want something to put all these little bits and pieces in. You could also just take the bag and pour them straight out onto the table. That's up to you. I like to have things sorted so that the cat won't knock them off the table and lose them and stuff. Yeah, take this bag and drop it into a little bowl or whatever you set aside to organize your stuff. So let's put this stuff back in the box. I usually do the cardboard on the bottom since this is so kind of uneven terrain. So we're going to do the different player boards here, and I'm going to just kind of tuck those in here to one side, and then the scoreboard that goes in next, that's going to go in down here. We've got these little sideboards for the draft. These could be rubber band together, perhaps, or not elastic rubber band, but they tend to fit right here on the side of the box, so I'm going to stick them in that way. These things I played with a little bit. They almost fit this way, but they kind of cause the box to bow out. I could do it this way, but if I stack it, it's a little bit too tight, but they do fit really nicely just over here on top of everything else. I've got these things. I did not open up these extras, these sort of Kickstarter extra things. So for now, I'm just going to stick them under here. I don't usually break those things out until I understand the base game and see if I like it. There is a potential sometimes to sell the little extra things that it comes with to pay for the initial game and stuff. So especially if it's not a game like you like it, but it's not something you have to have all of, you could always sell off like the little extra Kickstarter things. For the other tokens and stuff, I just kind of bagged them up by like tokens. So these are very easily separatable if you just wanted to use one big bag to put them all in. But just for fun, and because I've got a bunch of bags everywhere, all the different individual tokens were put in bags specifically for them. And those are just going to get kind of spread apart over here to help keep things from moving around a whole lot. And then I'm going to fill in the spaces on this side with all these bags of resources. And that is about it. Oh, we got the first player token. Hopefully he'll be pretty safe in here, but we're just going to drop him in the top. We've got the solo rules. This is something, if I'd thought about it a little bit before I started putting things in the box, I probably would have put this on the very bottom of the box. Because if I'm playing solo, then I'll have the whole board out anyway. And if not, then I could always leave it in the box and it won't be something to deal with, you know, right as I'm opening the box. Now I have to put this someplace. And I think most of the time I probably won't be playing solo. But for now, we're just going to stick that in here along with the rule set right here on top. And then we rebox it. Now, will it survive your shelf though? Can you store it upright? Can you store it? Can you throw it in your car, take it to a show, and it survive? Let's see. Let's give it the spin. Oh, and there's plenty of room in here, plenty of extra room. Probably a little bit too much extra room for the spin test. Oh, I hear some things moving around in here. But you know, it's interesting to see like how something survives going on a trip, or you know, even a car ride in your car. You know, how good is your storage solution at keeping things organized so when you open the box you're ready to play. So let's take a look here. We got the instructions, and as you can see, everything's pretty much the way I left it. Let's take a look inside of one of these boxes. Yeah, so we don't have tokens everywhere or anything like that. It's all nice and tucked away and safe and fairly easy to pull out. So you get to the place where you're going to play, you pull this out, and these are really easy to come out. They're already in stacks and stuff ready to go. Be sure to comment down below and let me know what you do for a storage solution. If you found anything else that would work. It's so hard to get in a game these days. It feels like I spend a lot of time dedicating to making my games as easy and as quick to get to the table as possible. And that's my unboxing and reboxing of Rolling Heights. Be sure to let me know down below what your favorite way to organize things are. If you got some kind of cool secret organizing tip that I haven't heard of, I'd love to hear about it. And don't forget to click like if you like this video and subscribe. We'd love to see you again. Until next time, enjoy your games. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.